Imagine a country playing in the UEFA Euro, knocking out several teams along the way, only to have their spot in the final decided by a coin toss. This really happened, and it's just one of 8 rules that were banned from football. Let's go through each one in chronological order, starting with a rule that I don't know how it was approved in the first place. Back at the 1968 UEFA Euro, the Soviet Union reached the semi-final, facing Italy, the host nation. It was a clash of giants, but in the end, it finished in a 0-0 draw. So it went to extra time and it remained tied. Today, everyone would expect for penalties, but it didn't exist yet. So what did the referee do? He took both captains to the locker room and pulled a coin out of his pocket. The decision on which team would go to the UEFA Euro final was gonna be made by a coin toss. The Italian captain chose tails, the Soviet one chose heads. Then the referee flipped the coin and tails. Just like that, Italy eliminated the Soviet Union from the UEFA Euro. The Soviets were knocked out just because their captain picked the wrong side of the coin. Then in the 1970 World Cup, the coin toss was still a rule. Thankfully, in 1970, it didn't have to be used. But just imagine, it was far from fair. So in that same year, the Football Association Board banned the coin toss, introducing the penalty shootout instead. But if you think that rule was bizarre, it's just the first of 8 that we'll cover in this video. Now the next rule change happened decades later, and as you know, a player can't back pass the ball to the keeper. But do you know why? Well, here's the reason.
Men det har virkelig givet dem største, og svenskerne havde store problemer med.
At the Euro 1992, Denmark was the underdog. Even with a weaker squad, they managed to reach the grand final, facing the current world champions Germany. But surprisingly, Denmark took the lead in the match. So after the goal, the keeper Schmeichel was in no rush of letting the ball roll. The referee couldn't do anything because it was within the rules. Other keepers were also doing this, but Schmeichel abused it so much that it was the final straw. So when that UEFA Euro ended, in July 1992, the International Football Association Board banned the back pass forever. But that Danish keeper took advantage of another loophole in the rules that led to it being completely changed. The rule was as follows: when a goalkeeper takes possession of the ball with his hands, he must get rid of it within 4 steps. So as long as the keeper didn't take 4 steps, he could hang on to the ball. So keepers wasted time holding it for 10-15 seconds or even more. The referee could judge if someone was time wasting or not, but there was no clear criterion, so many took advantage. Until 1997, IFAB decided to put an end to it. Instead of 4 steps, they switched to a 6-second limit, putting an end to that time wasting. In this video, we'll cover other rules that were banned from football. One of them is a rule that was changed after 133 years. But the next one we'll look at is, for me, one of the most bizarre rules that was ever created. It was so bad that it was banned less than 10 years after it was introduced. So imagine reaching extra time in a major tournament, conceding a goal in the first minute of extra time, and instead of having a chance to respond, the game ends right there. That was the golden goal rule. The first big impact of this was in the 1996 UEFA Euro final, when Czechia faced Germany in a balanced match that ended in a draw. So it went to extra time, but just 5 minutes into it,
For Klinsmann. Bierhoff is there. Can he turn? Somebody else? Can he get a shot in? It's in!
for the Czech Republic to equalize. There were still 25 minutes left, but after the goal, the game was finished. The referee blew the whistle to end the match, giving the Czechs no chance. It was cruel, and it continued to be. In the Euro 2000 semi-final, France scored a golden goal against Portugal, and even in the final against Italy. Even worse is that, in the 2002 World Cup, the golden goal put an end to 3 knockout matches. Senegal was eliminated by Turkey after conceding a goal just 4 minutes into extra time. So what ended up happening? In extra time, teams would play ultra defensively to avoid conceding, making the game uglier. It didn't take long for FIFA to realize the mess they have made. So in 2003, less than 10 years later, the golden goal rule was banned from football. But they tried creating another rule called the silver goal, which stated that if a goal was scored in the first half of extra time, the game would end when that half finished, used in the Euro 2004, but it was also banned. So fast forward a few years, we arrive at a rule that was changed because of Neymar. Well, not just because of him, but he was one of the main reasons it got banned. Back in 2010, Neymar was already still in the spotlight in Brazil, and it was with a penalty kick that he sparked controversy.
Pra bater o garoto Neymar, pé direito na bola, deu paradinha. Gol!
The 19-year-old Neymar humiliated one of Brazil's greatest goalkeepers with a simple move, and it wouldn't be the only time this happened. According to the rule, a player couldn't faint after completing the run-up, but there was no definition of what that meant. So referees, especially in Brazil, let it go unpunished. This allowed several stars to take advantage of it, from Neymar to Ronaldo the R9, leaving goalkeepers with no chance of saving. In Brazil, it was called paradinha, little stop. So in the year 2010, FIFA changed this rule, making it clear that players could not fake a shot after completing the run-up, banning it forever. But it was a few years later, in 2016, that a 133-year-old rule was abolished. Yeah, a rule that had existed since the 19th century. This rule was so old that it was introduced in the same year they created the rule that required a crossbar. It was established in 1883, at a time when even the English League didn't exist yet. What was the rule? Starting the game kicking the ball forward. At the time, each region in the UK played with different rules, so they made it to standardize the rules, and also to be a symbol of the attacking play of teams moving forward. It was part of football's history, from Alfredo Di Stefano to Messi and Ronaldo. Until someone asked why. After over a century, there was no reason to keep it. So in 2016, the body responsible for football's rules decided to ban it. For the first time in 133 years, the match could be started by passing backwards. It was a minor change, but the next rule was one of the most bizarre ones ever. It was a rule that caused several teams to be eliminated unfairly from major tournaments, sparking outrage and changing how the game was played. Just imagine being eliminated without losing a single match to your opponent. That was the away goals rule. If the first leg ended 1-1 and the second leg 0-0, the team that played away in that 1-1 advanced, even if they hadn't won a single game. It seems obviously bad, but it was created by UEFA in the 1960s as a tiebreaker, especially since penalties didn't exist as a tiebreaker and playing away was a real challenge. Traveling was much harder, and every pitch was in a different condition from the others. That meant teams playing away preferred to just defend. So it was created as an incentive for teams playing away to try to score, not just sitting back defensively. But even after penalties were introduced, this rule continued. A bizarre thing that was normalized, causing irreparable damage. In the 2009 Champions League semi-final, Barcelona drew with Chelsea in both legs. By logic, it should have gone to penalties. But just because Iniesta scored at Stamford Bridge, Barcelona advanced. And it wasn't just them. In the following year, Ferguson's Man United was eliminated by Bayern on a 4-4 aggregate. In 2018, Barcelona was eliminated by Roma, Tottenham eliminated both Man City and Ajax in 2019, and so on. This made many teams playing at home to just defend to avoid conceding. But the reason this rule was created no longer made sense in modern football. So in 2021, after over 50 years, UEFA officially banned it. Then CONMEBOL also banned this rule from the Libertadores, and the AFC banned it from the AFC Champions League. But it hasn't been completely gone. In CONCACAF and Africa's tournaments, it still exists. In those regions, playing away continues to be a big challenge, often due to lack of infrastructure and so on. So now we've come to the most recent rule that was changed, in 2025, due to a controversial moment that happened in the Champions League.
That's the big question. Straight down the middle. He had a little slip.
Oh, didn't he? Roof of the net.
In the Champions League round of 16, Atletico Madrid went to penalties against their rivals Real Madrid, where Julian Alvarez scored. It seemed like a normal penalty, until VAR intervened and detected a double touch. A millimetric touch, causing the penalty to be disallowed. And instead of retaking it, the penalty was ruled as missed, leading Atletico being eliminated from the Champions League. This was a huge controversy. So in June 2025, the body responsible for football's rules decided to change this forever. Instead of losing the penalty like what happened with Alvarez, now a player who scores with a double touch can retake it. A change that seems small, but it was the reason an entire team was knocked out of the world's biggest club competition. So what did you think of this video? If you enjoyed it, I think you're gonna like this one too. So thanks for watching and bye!